Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about loose setting powders and which ones are absolutely amazing for oily skin. If you had a chance to watch my full coverage foundation routine video, you will have noticed that I used a lot of powder on my face in order to set the liquid makeup that I had put on, and that is the best shield of defense that I have against makeup wearing, transferring throughout the day, and generally disappearing from sight. If you'd like, I can always do another video on some of the best pressed powders for oily skin, because I know there are several out there that I love using that tend to work really well on my skin, and I'm happy to share those ones with you. Before I dive into all of these powders, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you become a part of my makeup family here on YouTube. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. I've divided the powders I'm going to be talking about today into two groups. The first group is going to have powders that have a bit of an undertone to them, whether it's pink, yellow, or beige. They are going to have some sort of color. And the second group is going to have powders that are white or completely translucent. But really, all of the powders that I'm going to be talking about today are translucent. Let's start off with one of my favorite powders for setting my under eye and also for contouring, especially when I want a really nice sharp contour. It is this powder here from RCMA. Of course, it's the famous No Color powder. This is a really nice soft powder that does leave your skin feeling smooth and flawless, and it's super affordable as well. The only thing I don't like about it is the actual packaging that it comes in. So it's like a little salt and pepper shaker. You dunk out some powder and you're good to go. But again, if I'm only spending, I think it's $12 for this powder, then I'm happy spending $12 and not $40 just because it's gonna have nicer packaging. This one here is really great at keeping you matte all day long, especially if you are gonna bake with it for an extended period of time. And when I say extended period of time, I mean keep this on your face for about 10 to 15 minutes before you wipe it away. And as long as I dust off this powder with a little bit of pressed powder that does have some color, like my MAC Studio Fix powder, I can ensure that I won't have much flashback when it comes to this item here. The next powder I'm going to talk about does come from L'Oreal. It is the Infallible Pro Sweep and Lock Translucent Setting Powder. This one is really great at setting your makeup, and I like that it is so finely milled. So even when you touch it, it just feels so smooth and silky. The only thing that I have found with this particular powder in the past is that it does cause flashback if you are going to be in flash photography, but if all you need it for is to go about your regular day, then this is going to totally serve its purpose. Another powder that I have been a fan of in the past, but I haven't so much used this recently because I've discovered other powders that I enjoy a lot more that are also a lot more affordable. It's this one here from Makeup Forever. This is a cult favorite. It is the HD powder. One of my biggest gripes with this powder is the packaging. I don't like that it has this net here. I feel like I can never get enough product out of there. But on the other hand, it's a really great way of keeping your product contained and it doesn't go flying all over the place. It also has a stopper in the lid to really help with that. This powder is so finely milled and it feels really silky, very similar to some of the other powders that I've talked about. While this powder does set my makeup really nicely, I find it doesn't keep me matte for very long, but that's okay. It's a really good one to throw into your purse and just touch up while you're on the go. Now we're moving into some powders that do have a little bit of color to them, and the first ones I'm going to talk about are these very popular ones here from Coty. This is the Airspun Loose Face Powder, and I do have two of them. One is in the shade Translucent, and the other one is Translucent Extra Coverage. Your girl doesn't exactly have a small head or face, which is why I always look for big tubs of loose setting powder and also ones that are affordable and easy to replace. And that's why I really like the Coty Airspun powders. In addition to them just being so smooth on the skin, really melting into your skin nicely, these have never given me any issues. They do keep me matte all day long, and I do like using the extra coverage one because it does give you extra coverage. It just gives you an extra hint on top of the foundation that you've already used. It smooths everything out so nicely and your skin ends up looking like porcelain. The one complaint I've always heard about the Coty Airspun powders is that they do have a scent to them. And to me, it's not a horrible scent. It smells like your grandma's house and the air fresheners that she uses or the perfume that she wears. It's just this sort of floral fragrance. It does disappear pretty quickly once the powder is on your face, but if that's something that's gonna bother you, you may wanna reconsider using these powders, but they are really affordable in price. I think they range anywhere from $6 to $10 depending on where you go. They're just such a staple item in one's makeup collection, and they have never let me down. Another powder that is a cult classic does come from Laura Mercier. This is the loose setting powder in the shade Translucent. And of course, you guys can see I don't have the full size of it. I've only ever purchased the mini version because the full size one is on the expensive side. I really just wanted to test this powder out, and I loved it when I got it. This one does have a bit of a yellow undertone to it, so it is gonna mask any redness on your face and any sallowness, so it ends up looking really, really nice on the skin. Oddly enough, I think I have found a dupe for this Laura Mercier powder, and it comes from Joe Fresh, which I believe is a Canadian brand, but you may be able to get it in the States. Anyhow, this powder here is almost identical to this one in the way it sets and really brightens your face. I also really like the packaging. I feel like it's more of a sandwich layer. You've obviously got your plastic container down here, and you can see the powder. You crack open the lid, you've got a nice mirror, and then there is a plastic protective layer that you pull out, and there is your powder there. It's got plastic with some perforations for the powder to come out. This one does have more of a pink undertone as opposed to the yellow one that the Laura Mercier powder has, but oh my goodness, does this sit on your skin nicely or what? Not to mention that this is also a fraction of the price of what Laura Mercier charges for friggin' powder. Another powder that I purchased around Christmas is this one here from MAC and PatrickStarrr. It's part of their collaboration. This is Patrick's powder, and I've really been enjoying this one. It does have a pink undertone to it, but oh my goodness, it does not look pink on your face once you apply it, even on darker skin tones. It just goes over your skin and your pores so flawlessly, and it just smooths out your skin like nothing else. It has no scent to it. It is really finely milled, so it feels nice and soft and silky, but my only problem with this powder is the packaging. I mean, you get a ton of it, which is amazing, but I don't like the perforations of this plastic here because you can rarely get lots of powder to come out. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you're not supposed to take that much powder and pat it onto your face, but I like getting a heaping spoonful basically and just tapping that on my face to set my makeup. What you can do is always pop off the plastic. I've seen Patrick do this and a couple of other YouTubers, and dip your sponge directly in there. There's always a solution to a problem. Anyhow, this powder is wonderful. It keeps you matte for a really, really long time. That's where I'm really impressed with this, and that's why I continue to use this with my makeup. One of the other powders that I have recently been obsessed with, I can't get enough of it. I use it pretty much every single day unless I have a couple of other powders in rotation. It is the one from Rimmel. This is the Stay Matte Mattifying Loose powder in the shade Translucent. I was so ridiculously happy when I discovered this powder because it is affordable, but it is also so good. For $7 or $8, this powder here rivals Dior, Makeup Forever, Laura Mercier, MAC. It is incredible. As the name suggests, it is a matte powder and it keeps you looking matte all day long. I use this to set my under eye concealer. I use it to set my entire face, and it just looks beautiful on my skin. Does not have any flashback, especially if I use a little bit of extra coverage with another pressed powder. This powder does have a bit of a pink undertone to it. It does not look pink on the skin at all. It really does go on translucent. This is one of the only powders that I have that will keep me matte all day long, and I won't need to do touch-ups. Yeah. it's that good. The texture of the powder is nice and soft. It doesn't feel chalky and it applies really easily. It absorbs into your skin quite quickly and it doesn't leave a powdery or cakey look on your face either. And the best part, it also does not settle into any fine lines. This is such a staple powder for me and I don't know what I was doing before I discovered it. The next powder I'm going to talk about was a favorite of mine for a really long time until I discovered this Rimmel powder over here. It does come from Cinema Secrets. It's a pro cosmetics line that is used in a lot of movies and theater and television. This is the Ultralucent setting powder in the shade Beige. I like this one because I can use it to set my entire face and then I don't need to add any other powder on top of it and it doesn't cause any flashback. This powder is so easy to use and a little bit goes such a long way and it gives you additional coverage. So it's gonna make your skin look absolutely flawless. And this shit is also gonna keep you looking matte all day long. And as an oily skin girl, that's dream. There you go. There is a rundown of all of the loose powders that I think are really great for oily skin. I feel like I have a pretty good mix in here of more high-end powders that are a little more on the expensive side, but I've also got some really great affordable options. And funny enough, I think I tend to steer more towards the affordable options than the more expensive ones. And that just goes to show you, you don't need to spend a lot of money in order to get a great makeup product. Over the last year, I have definitely learned not to underestimate the drugstore. I really hope you enjoyed this video and this rundown. Do let me know in the comment section below if you like using loose setting powder, and if you do, what's your favorite one to use, or which ones do you recommend for oily skin? Also make sure you leave some recommendations in there for normal to dry skin or combination skin. I'm sure there are others in the makeup community who would love to hear those suggestions as well, because that's not always an area that I can speak really well towards, because obviously I don't have that skin type. Before you click out of this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, don't forget to hit that like button, and also connect with me on all of my social media. I'm gonna make sure everything is linked for you in the description box below. Thank you again so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I also hope you are having an amazing day, no matter where you are in the world. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!